This is a tough decision, for me. I've been playing basketball since I was 5 years old. I'm 36. This is definitely something that I've mastered from the standpoint of I'm probably going to be better at nothing more than I'm better at this. I get close. But, I'm an okay father, too. Trying to be a better husband. But I've been a pretty good basketball player for a long time, even before people knew me. So, so those emotions came back in that moment. So that 10 minutes was actually nothing, y'all. My mom's a pastor. Y'all got to know the Wade family. We can go. So I cut it short because I knew it was getting lengthy. But I could have went for at least 30. Could have did a special by myself. No questions asked. Just kept going. So.
Dwyane, we saw you play the offseason, and all along you said, hey, look, I've got a lot to really think about, and it was clear until you made the decision you did. But I'm curious, when was the moment that after thinking about it, you said, okay, I'm doing this? Did you wake up one morning? Was it a moment you had a meeting with your family? How did that all come to be to say, okay, I am coming back?
Just a combination of the whole entire summer. I know what, people just close to me, what their wants are. And then I looked at the situation. I think for me, it was ultimately it just came to me saying, I just want to have an opportunity just to give my fans an opportunity to say goodbye and give me an opportunity to say goodbye as well, a complete opportunity to do that. And, last year, even when this thought started creeping into my mind, it was so late in the process that I didn't even give myself a chance to really say goodbye, to this game. Because once it's over with, there ain't no coming back on this stage. I mean, I'd be a local hooper superstar, but outside of that, I'm not going to be on this level no more. So that's what it came down to. It was, I can think about all the things that can pull me not to come back, and I can think about the things that pulled me to come back. But ultimately, it was a few people and a few things that really helped push me this way. And saying a real goodbye was definitely at the top of that. A promise kept. I don't know what UD's going to do after this year, but I know what I'm doing, and that's another promise that I wanted to keep to him that we made, to each other a long time ago, and other things as well.
Dwyane, welcome back. A lot of times through the broad spectrum of sports, players' retirement, the decisions are made for them. Teams cut them and their career's over. Definitely. How fortunate do you feel that you're ending this on your terms? Because doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's something that I've talked about, I think when the season was over with. Me and my business manager sat down and talked about it, and I was really out of it at that point. I was like, yeah, it's over. I was about 90-10 at that point. It was over. But, there was messages that kept coming back to me is that, you're fortunate enough to be in this situation where you can control, how it ends, bearing any injuries. And I think, even what Shaq said the other day, listening to some of the greats that played this game and not having the opportunity to go through, an opportunity like, this, that make me appreciate even more, that I have the ability to do it, this way or my way, in a sense. So I continue to say I'm going to be very uncomfortable with this whole thing. I'm going to be very uncomfortable with the farewell tour. It's not something that I wanted. I think people around me know I really, really, really didn't want this. So I just look at it and say this is me just saying goodbye, more so than anything. But I'm definitely going to be uncomfortable with it. But, like Shaq said, if he could have got an opportunity to do this, if other greats could have got an opportunity because of injury or because of, teams or trades, et cetera, you may not get this chance to have people, one last time pat you on the back and tell you how great you were. Not that you are, that you were. That's something that all players need, right? So here we go.
In the video at the end, you talked about, you asked fans basically to join you and write the ending together with you. Short of the parade down Biscayne Boulevard answer, what is the perfect ending for you this season? What do you want out of this year?
I don't know, Tim. I have no idea what I want out this year. So that's why I said let's write it together, however it's going to be. We're going to be able to figure this thing out, as the year go on. It's going to take on a life of its own. I like I said, I had no idea what I was going to say. The whole One Last Dance thing came out of nowhere. I don't even know how to dance. So, it really was just all off the cuff. But I really don't know. And I, as I was saying, you guys will hear more about it. To me, that is the beauty of it, is that I do not know and that we do not know, and it keeps people clicking on you guys' articles because they do not know what's going to happen or what's going to be said.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Listen, I'm for the community, I'm for. So, that's the beauty of it. And I cannot wait to see how it ends. And however this ends, it's just another chapter to that book that we've been talking about in my life. I hope it ends amazing. But you never know how each season is going to end. They all end differently, and you take your positives and pull some negatives out. But I don't think I'm going to pull no negatives out this year. I'm just going to pull all the positives out, and I'm going to ride off on that.
Dwyane, looking ahead to the season, obviously a lot of critics would look at this roster and say there's not a clear-cut all-star. What are the challenges to finding success in the league without a clear superstar in today's game?
Yeah, very challenging. I mean, how many you got in Golden State? 4? 5? I mean, you need to compete at that level. We talk about that level, that championship level, to be consistent throughout the season and win 55, 60, 65, those kind of games. You need that kind of talent. You need that kind of stature, on your team. And the goal is, when you got a young team like we have in the locker room with a lot of guys, is to build it to one day those guys are that. They are multiple all-stars, or they are looked at in that light. So that's the process that we're in as an organization.